Let's find some day trades, swing trades, and option trades. Good morning, traders. We're 3 hours into trading, and it is June 25th, Thursday morning. Market is trying to make a new high of the day. We had some clues early on that this might be a little bit of a bullish day, but it's been pretty choppy. So let's take a look at those clues and see how things lined up. So we had some negative overnight news. Coronavirus is spreading. That was weighing on the market early on. Couple of long red candles closing on their low. But then we had this long engulfing candle right here that closed above that red candle, and we followed up with a couple of other long green candles. You can see how we had pretty decent follow through, but these red candles that were inside bars, inside of these green bars with overlap, told us that this was a pretty low quality rally right in here. So we still had resistance from yesterday intact, and we could start to see on this long red candle here that the market was starting to roll over. We also had the 10p indicator spiking, and that's where we had a bearish cross right in here. I tried a short on the S&P. Everything was working out well, had a nice little profit, and then boom, profits were gone instantly. So a little bit choppy in here. We had a little bit of a pullback on some coronavirus news that Texas was not going to be going into the phase 4 reopening. So market pulled back. This was the key right here. So we knew off of this early selling and the immediate bounce that we were going to start seeing some bullish price action. Now, this also lines up with that 200-day moving average. So we're going to put up the daily chart. We're going to put over the major moving averages, the 200-day and the 100-day. And you can see test, test. So now we've had two tests in the last 2 days off that 200-day moving average. For right now, it's holding. Now, you've heard me say this for the last couple of weeks. This is a low probability trading environment. Try not to do any trades. If you're going to do trades, you've got to sell out of the money bullish put spreads, distance yourself from the action, take advantage of time premium decay. I know some of you feel that this coronavirus is going to spark major selling, and we've also got some rotation out of stocks and into bonds by pension funds who need to reallocate in the next couple of days. But given settlement T+3, I think that weakness is going to run its course by tomorrow's close, and then we should have some pretty smooth sailing. Then we've got earnings season coming up. The bid to the market tends to be pretty decent into earnings season. So for those of you who are really bearish, yes, we've got a little bit of a downtrend starting. That's nice. Yes, we've had a little bit of selling through the course of the last 7 days. That's okay. But we keep bumping up on this 200-day moving average, and it is nice, strong support right now. Until we break below this horizontal support line at about the 100-day moving average, you cannot buy puts. And even then, even on a breakdown, I still think that with all the stimulus that they're looking to throw at the economic recovery, a $1 trillion infrastructure plan by Trump is being proposed. We've got $1 trillion in stimulus that'll go to small businesses and workers. We're probably going to see the national unemployment benefit of $600 per week extended through July if this economic recovery is slow. So there's a huge safety net right now on the market. I think that any kind of pullback is going to be very, very sluggish. So the recovery is definitely going to be taking longer than we expected. I also would not expect an explosive move higher. We're going to see the devastation from the shutdown as Q2 earnings are released. So to put this into broad perspective, low probability trading environment, look for sideways price action in the market. We could see another day or two of weakness because of fund rebalancing. But with earnings season coming up, these major support levels should hold. On any dip, you should be trying to sell out of the money bullish put spreads. And I put out my weekly swing trading video last night to members. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you will be able to see that on Saturday. You'll see it in entirety. It's about a 50-minute long video, lots of education, and 4 new swing trades in it. I'll show you a couple of trades that we got off. I'll at least show you the stocks that we traded. And take a look at those very quickly. CHWY, you can see how the stock dipped early this morning. We were able to get a bullish put spread done on that one. There's your daily chart. You can draw your horizontal support line right across here. We were selling to 46.50 puts, and that should be a nice position for us. Microsoft was another one that we highlighted, and you can see that nice support level right there that comes across right at that 190 level, let's call it. So we were able to get a couple of trades done, but we had to act quickly. We had those orders working right from the open this morning. That's the only way we would have gotten filled, was we had a nice little market pullback. We were able to sell those out of the money bullish put spreads. We had two other trades that we were not able to get filled on. May we get filled tomorrow? It's possible. I'm trying to sell these out of the money bullish put spreads inside of a 3-week window. I really want to be able to constantly reevaluate market conditions, and so that allows me to do that. I also take advantage of accelerated time premium decay if I stay within that 3-week window. Ideally, we're within a 2-week window. Everything that we did this week has a July 10 expiration, so we've got a holiday in there. That's also going to suck the air out of the room. Trading volumes are going to drop off dramatically, so you'll have that working in your favor if you're selling out of the money bullish put spreads. So you can see here on the open, Microsoft dip, dip, dip on the open. Perfect. That's exactly the kind of drop that we needed to have. So we got filled on at least two of our bullish put spreads. I still like those. I think those will be in really decent shape. So let me give you some news here. In my video today on YouTube, I'm going to encourage you to go onto my Twitter site, and if you query one option trading or you go to one options trading, you'll be able to find that. I'll also have a link in my YouTube video. I'm going to be posting my daily market comments before the open every single day, and here you can see them. They are quite extensive, and you'll see that trading the S&P 500, we're going to test the 100-day moving average, buy puts if this happens. So what I'm doing is I'm painting the picture that until that SPY 295 level is breached, you have to stay on the long side. So you'll see all of that commentary. It's actually quite long. You would click on this link, but I'm also going to be posting trades during the morning that I like. And today I posted ZNGA, Zenga. And you can see this nice gradual upward sloping trend line, and it's easy to take a position in the stock because it's got great relative strength, it's got decent volume, it's got a nice trend line, and you can lean on that trend line for your stop. So if you buy the stock, fantastic. Hang on to the stock, keep riding it higher and higher and higher. Use that trend line, keep extending it. When the stock breaks that trend line, take your profits. Very, very easy. So please make sure to sign up for the Twitter feed. I am going to be, I have been great about how to utilize Twitter in the best fashion. So I'm going to be trying to post some trades in the morning, maybe one or two trades. That'll give you some ideas before I post my daily video. So let's go back to the market and let's take a look at what's happening. You can see here that the market is resting right on the high of the day. We had that nice little signal here from the 10P indicator. That was a good entry point for a long. We're going to chop around. We're not going to do a whole lot today. I feel that this resistance level is still intact, so we can take a GTC alert line. We can double click. Now it's going to hold there. If we break above it, I'm going to know about it. I also feel that the low of the day is pretty safe. So we're probably going to just kind of flounder around between this resistance and the low of the day, which is that 200-day moving average. I don't see us moving a whole lot today. That means you should really keep your trading to a minimum. So let's take a look at some bullish stocks. We have to favor that side of the equation. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to take a look at some of our searches. I did actually put a couple of bearish trades out there yesterday that I thought you could consider. One of them was Wynn and one of them was Disney. So let's take a quick look at those, see how they did. But those are really for day trading. Remember, I told you yesterday, I'm not looking to take any swing trades overnight that are bearish. Not at all. Not until we break SPY 295. But this was a nice bearish swing trade in here. Had some nice profits in Disney. You can see how it's continuing to be weak this morning. Market's making a new high for the day. Stock is actually below the prior day's low. So that's bearish. Win. You'll also see similar. Really nice short up in here. Yesterday when I recorded the video, you can see how it closed on its low with follow through today. So there are some shorting opportunities, but it's pretty tough to make money on the short side. So let's focus on the long side, see what we've got going. I'm going to go into the bullish searches, going to go into Pop Bull. RAD is one that I've been trading. I've made money on that a couple of times today. This also came up in the after earnings search. Click that. You can see it right there. This is fantastic during earnings season because we can spot stocks that announced yesterday after the close or today before the open that have other qualities that we look for that really look good. So RAD's been on the list from early this morning, traded it in here, made money, took profits, waited, bought it in here on this breakout. I set an alert, made more money. So been very nice. I think that RAD continues to move higher. That looks pretty dang good to me. In Pop Bull, this also has some nice stocks. CRWD, really like CRWD. You can see how it's through the prior day's high. Long green candles closing on their high. This came at a time when the market was still waffling around trying to figure out what it wanted to do. You can see here how the stock rallied with the market. Market pulls back. Here, this dip was perhaps the most telling. You could see that market pullback right there. What did CRWD do? Nothing. It flatlined. It compressed. As soon as that market caught a bid right in here, whoosh, higher relative strength. So when you see the market pull back and you see the stock able to hold a bid, you know the buyers are lined up. And as soon as the market finds support, it's going to go higher. That's what we do. We do that on a day trading basis. We also do it on a swing trading basis. We want to see strength. We want to see momentum. We want to see heavy volume. We're not out there trying to pick bottoms when a stock is free falling. We want that support intact. We want the momentum. Once we do that, we have all the things we need for a successful trade. We want to have the wind at our back. I don't want to be swimming upstream. I want to be swimming downstream. So CRWD looks good. We'll go into that daily chart. I'm going to take the SPY off for right now. You can see that relative strength, stock continuing to surge higher. How do you trade this? Gee, I want to swing trade this stock, Pete. What should I do? Excuse me. I would click alert and I would draw my nice little upward sloping trend line. Get long the stock. As long as that trend line is intact, you can be long the stock. Let's continue to go into another search. See how easy this is? Super easy. So we're going to go into heavy buying, see what's in that list. Spot. Look at that. Beautiful. It's been on this list since the beginning of the day. Long green candles closing on their high, market pulling back. That's your signal to get long. So I'll just put up the SPY overlay. You can see what I'm talking about. Here you got the market selling off and the stock moving higher. Okay, looks good. NVAX, showed you that yesterday. That was my long of the day yesterday. And the video came out somewhere in here. And you can see how NVAX actually finished higher than that. And today it's continuing to move higher. FSLY, I haven't touched that one because it's gone parabolic, but super, super strong. INO was one that I showed you yesterday. I traded it a number of times, and the video came out somewhere in here, so it kind of flatlined the rest of the day, but it still wanted to move higher. If you bought that overnight, you're doing very well on it. But again, this stock has gone parabolic. I'm not one to want to hold a stock overnight that looks like a rocket ship. That's not for me. I'm going to be in there day trading the heck out of it, but I'm not going to hold it overnight because you have the chance of something like this happening. Looks great, looks great, looks great. Whoa. So I don't want to be in there for that reason because the stock will be pretty volatile overnight. TMUS, I showed this to you a couple of days ago. I like this breakout right in here. And you can see how the stock is continuing to move higher. I really like TMUS. Same deal here, GTC. Click that candle right here. Click that candle right here. If you're a stock trader, you just stay in it. You've got your GTC alert. Whenever that alert line is breached, you'll be notified, and then you can just exit the trade and take your gain. So that looks good. MAXR, this is kind of nice, trying to poke through this horizontal resistance. So SRNE, we've had a couple of people in that. This is a pretty big mover. I don't like that it's backed off so much off of its high right now. And with the market testing the highs of the day, I would want to see a green bar pushing to the high of the day. That would tell me that buyers are still in there big time. Take a look here. Anything that's negative, I'm not interested in. BYND actually looks like it could be setting up for a good short. So I'm going to show you that one, and I'll show you why I think so. That's a breakout right there. Okay, so you can see resistance, resistance, resistance. Aha, we're through that resistance. Now this becomes support. Support, tested it. Today we tested it again, but the market has been able to recover a bit, and it was looking pretty weak today, and a breakdown and a close below that horizontal support line right in there probably comes into play around the $140 level. If it closes below 140, I think you could see some profit taking on the backside. As it stands right now, stock recovered nicely, but it was showing a little bit of weakness earlier. GS, Goldman Sachs. Nothing too exciting there. You've got a downward sloping trend line that has to be breached and the stock has to close above it. Then you might get a little bit of a pop in the bank stocks. They dominate the early scene for earnings season, the first 2 weeks of earnings season. Lots and lots of banks, so you might see a little bit of a rally going into earnings season. Man, I got to show you a really good search for earnings season. So buy into earnings. You're going to hear me talk more and more about this as earnings season approaches, because stocks that appear in this list are going to announce earnings in the next 2 weeks. And over the last 3 years, quarter after quarter, they have had a tendency to rally 2 weeks into that earnings announcement more than 75% of the time. That's a really good statistic. How the heck would I use information like that, Pete? Well, I've got WBA here. I've got a nice little upward sloping trend line that I can lean on right here. I can draw right in there. That support would need to hold. I've also got horizontal support. So if I were going to look at this chart and pick a strike price that I'd want to sell a bullish put spread at, I would probably pick somewhere around the $40 level, which comes into play right about there. You can see that low is 39.83. So then I'd want to go in and I'd want to take a look at those options, and I would want to be selling a bullish put spread below that $40 strike price. And then the idea here is that we've got earnings season coming up in the next 2 weeks. The stock has had a tendency to rally into earnings announcements. I'd want to make sure that I have a spread that expires before that earnings announcement. And here you can see that the earnings are on 7/9. So there's a 7/2 expiration date that I can sell a bullish put spread on. And the stock should be able to maintain support, and I'm actually even expecting it to grind higher. Great strategy for selling out of the money bullish put spreads. So you'll see me use buy into earnings with greater and greater frequency as we get into next week and as we get into July, when we get the meat of earnings season coming up. Fantastic for selling out of the money bullish put spreads. So I think we looked at heavy buying, and we've got some really nice stocks in there. DRI, they reported earnings. A little bit lackluster in there, not much to look at. And then I'm going to go into bull run, see what else we can find in here, see if we can find any gems that are moving. This one looked like a short to me. DKNG came up earlier today. Another one, high flyer, starting to see. There's a double top, lower high right there. That's a sign of weakness. You can see how the stock is starting to test this horizontal support level right at the $35 level. If the stock breaks below that $35 level, I think it's going to be a decent short. You can see how it's gone parabolic. So what do you do with that? You click on that low right there. It's going to go vertical until the day is ended, and then it'll be a horizontal line, GTC. And if the stock trades below it, I'm going to get that alert. I think this one could be a nice little short in here. So keep looking down the list here. Plug was a good long yesterday. Just seeing if there's anything else. Pepsi is trapped in a range. There's nothing too good to look at right there. We want that momentum. So I think that's pretty much it for today. I think that's going to cover the list. I like CRWD. So let's take one last look at that. I love that upward sloping trend line. I love the relative strength in here. I think RAD might provide a nice little day trading opportunity for us today. You can see how that stock's trying to get through the high of the day. You want to make sure that this upward sloping trend line right here is preserved. As long as it is, that's your guide. And you stick with the trade. When it's violated, you take profits on that one. And I also showed you ZNGA. I think this is just a nice little swing trade. Should continue to grind higher. It's a little bit choppy for day trading, but the overall trend is good. And I do like that on a swing basis because you can just draw that trend line right there, follow the stock higher and higher. As long as that trend line is intact, you've got a decent looking trade. That's it. So please make sure to go to the Twitter page, check it out, sign up for the feed, and as my followers grow, I'll probably end up being more and more active in it. I will try and post at least one or two trades that I like early in the day, stocks that I like early in the day, so that you've got something that you can sink your teeth into. And I will have a link in the description of today's YouTube video. Trade well, keep it light, look for the action to be super, super dull over the course of the next week or so. We're in a news vacuum, very light news cycle right now, low volume, not a lot of economic news or earnings news. So I'm expecting that 200-day moving average to hold. We've tested it 3 times last week. We've just tested it in the last 2 days twice. It has held. So I'm expecting this to kind of hold, and then we've got another major support level just below it. So I think you're going to see buyers coming in there, maybe a couple of days of weakness with funds rotating out of equities and into bonds, but by Friday that should run its course, and then we should have a nice little bid to the market heading into earnings season. Thanks so much. Please give this content a thumbs up if you like it. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on your notifications so that you never miss one of these videos. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.